Okay guys, so we got the water pump out. As you can see, it wound up being, there's a little neck that comes off of here. It's, I don't know, a little pipe, comes up, does a 90, goes to the heater core lines over here, kind of comes up like this. As I was taking it apart, I felt it was pretty soft. You can kind of, I don't know, it felt like it was bending a little too easy, so I didn't get a chance to show you guys this trick of mine. Your new water pump, sometimes they come with the studs in them, sometimes they don't. A lot of the times they don't, and trust me, when you're at the parts place, you're going to forget to buy these studs because you're not going to be thinking about the studs. You're going to go, oh, I just need the water pump, we'll throw the water pump in. So you're going to take this bolt, put it on the stud with another bolt already on the stud. You're going to tighten these two together, come to a nice snug stop like that. Put your wrench on this bolt here, make sure that both the bolts are tight together. You might have to put a pair of channel locks on this flange here, and then you can generally turn the bolt at the back, and it'll pull your stud out for you. Kind of sucks. Sometimes they get stuck together, but it's not all that bad of a job. If you're doing this at home, I'm sure you're going to forget the studs. I forgot the studs. Again, I probably wouldn't have even bought new studs. I would have just used my little trick here. Got my studs out. To be honest, they weren't all that tight. There is a little beveled edge right there. I could just get a pair of needle nose vice grips on them. Mine were pretty loose already. Somebody must have done this before and just not put them in tight. You always put blue Loctite, not red, because eventually some other person down the road is going to need to take this water pump out, and they're going to be kicking and yelling and screaming at whoever put red Loctite on this, because I guarantee you they're going to forget the studs too. Okay guys, so I will catch up with you in 2 minutes when I'm throwing this thing all back together. Okay guys, we got everything all cleaned up, nice and clean. Gasket surfaces are perfect. I even took a scraper and kind of, I don't know, scraped the timing cover off a little bit, got some oil off it. I don't know what the purpose was of that. I guess clean a little bit, but I don't know. We got to do a valve cover gasket on this thing next, so okay, I'm gonna stay here and finish getting this done before I go to work, because I got like an hour and a half before I got to go to work, and I gotta get the water pump in and maybe try and get it all put back together, but I highly doubt that's gonna happen. But we're gonna play with some ultra copper and the water pump. This is not a recommended way of doing things whatsoever. The textbook says to not do it this way. I just do it this way because I'm dealing with an old gasket surface there and a new gasket surface here. We're going to put some ultra copper on, put our gasket on, put some ultra copper gasket maker on our gasket too, and slam this thing together. Like I said, this is not an approved way of doing it. I know this. We're just going to make it happen, I guess, guys. Okay, stay tuned. Okay guys, we got the water pump on. Just thought I'd take a little note for some keyboard warrior that's gonna come and attack me for putting a gasket maker on top of a gasket before I sandwich it together. Guys, that is not a textbook method. I understand that. Somebody I know out there is gonna have something to say about it, and they're gonna get all butthurt and upset. That's fine. If you think a gasket is gonna help seal a water pump, you're absolutely right. It's gonna help, but if there's imperfections in that in the casting on the block or anything like that, that's why I put the gasket maker on there, just because I know this Jeep has 300,000 K on it. I know I'm gonna run into little issues with sealing issues and stuff like that, so that's why I'm doing this. Look at this water neck housing. That is not a nice surface. That's why I'm going to double things up. There's going to be a gasket there, and there's going to be some gasket maker. Alright guys, catch up with me in a few minutes. Okay guys, as you can see, I got it majority part of the way back together. Got our water neck on. I don't have that coolant pipe, so I don't think we're going to be able to finish this job today. I'm going to upload the videos anyways, probably part 1, part 2. I might even do like a little part 3 of me putting in the coolant neck and just kind of throwing it back together, putting the belt on, some stuff like that. I'm going to touch base on you quick. When you do this job, I'm going to give you a little bit of a parts list. You're going to want to get a water neck gasket, a thermostat, a pulley, like an idler pulley, you're also going to ask about a tensioner pulley. It's the pulley itself. It's kind of doesn't really make any sense. I'd assumed it would be like a GM tensioner, but I guess it's not really. So when you replace this pulley, make sure both the new pulley and the old pulley are the same size and diameter. Make sure the bearing steps down and it works. You're going to get your new bolts, or not your new bolt, but your old bolt. Throw some blue Loctite on that. That goes through there. Bolt it up. Throw your belt on. Put your fan on. Well, I guess you're going to put your fan and your shroud together. Last thing you're going to do is throw on your upper radiator hose. So I think this is where I'm going to leave you guys today. Thanks for stopping in.